Well, good morning, Cider friend. This is Mitty Man coming back at you again from Walker's Music. Saturday morning edition, early. I've been up about 2 hours already, and it's about 7:43 now. I just wanted to give God glory, though, and give Him all the praise for life, health, and strength, well as it is. I guess some would ask, why Mitty Man get you up so early on Saturday morning? You should sleep in. Nah, I can't sleep in, people. I'm always got something. I don't like to say busy. I like to say I try to stay productive. You can be busy and not productive. I hope y'all know that. A Mitty Man tries to stay productive. I want to also just give a quick shout out to all the YouTube friends, cyber friends, everybody, Blog Talk, across the board, End Time Harvest. You know who you are. All the supporters, you know who you are. I want to say right quickly this morning, I got kind of a little, not upset, but you know, as soon as you think we have made progress, there'll come, lo and behold, something else get in the news, negative. And I did a video not too long ago about negative people, negative situation. I think I said being positive in a negative world. I think it was something like that. But nevertheless, when I got up this morning, like I said, I didn't lie down until early this morning, as it was about 2:30, and I was up again about 5 something. But I'm very energized, ready to go. I got choir rehearsal this morning, and that's why that's one of the reasons why I was up so early. But nevertheless, let me go ahead on and speak what I was speaking of. I know that some of you might remember that a few days ago, not too long ago, I know, I did the video about remaining positive in a negative world. I think it was something like that. Well, anyway, this morning, just when I got up and everything, got myself situated, tried to get me a little coffee made, and I came in here and I got my computers ready and got my smartphone charged up and everything. Lo and behold, across the board here, on all my PCs, the only thing I could see was headlines on the recent incident of Miss Paula Deen, and about the racist thing that she supposedly, you hear me now, she supposedly had said and done. I don't really know what the woman done herself. But at any rate, when I looked at that, I said, oh Lord, I just shook my head. I said, here we go again, the media. Okay, now, and yes, and I did say Miss Paula Deen. I was taught, I was raised to say Miss and Mr., yes sir and no sir to elders. I was automatically taught that. And then when I went to the military, they did not change that etiquette in me. Matter of fact, they didn't have to instill that in me because it was already embedded in me before I even went to the military. But those of you that did go and are veterans of the military, you know for yourself that all females is yes ma'am, no ma'am, and all males is yes sir and no sir. You already know that. It's just respect. And see, this is what a lot of people have lost in these days and time. It just plumb stomped down respect. We think that giving people respect is you got to be some sort of Uncle Tom or something like that there. And let me tell you something, a lot of you don't know, and you don't really know why you calling people Uncle Tom and things, because if you really knew who Uncle Tom was, that is a compliment when you call a person Uncle Tom. And I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to see if anybody going to ask that question, who was Uncle Tom? But until you do, I'm going to let it stay right there. But it is a compliment to be called Uncle Tom, whether you realize it or not. But at any rate, I just look at how the media try to blow up all negative stuff. Now, I'm not going to touch this incident with this lady. I'm not going to even speak it because of the fact that, you know what? If she said what she said, I don't know that. I wasn't there. But if she said what she said, then I'm going to bring Mitty Man. I got to put my own self now on trial. I'm going to bring myself on trial and see how many racial slurs and remarks that I have made. Not only to the opposite races, but also to my own kind. I'm going to speak this here. I have a friend, a very dear friend. She's a choir member that I almost played for them for almost 20 years. and but I knew her longer than that. I've known her for about 30 years because she was a worker in our dining hall when I was going to Andrew College, and she was one of the main people in the dining hall, and it was one of the main people of that ran things. And I'm going to hurry up, but I just got to tell you this. And she's a very, very dear friend, love her to death. Sing amazing, amazing voice. And for years, this, and I'm going to say it because I can say it because I'm guilty. For years, I called her a nickname, and we used to laugh about it. We laughed about it because we know she knew what I was speaking of, and she know the reason why I was speaking of. But you know what I called her? Yes, friend. Let me tell you what Mitty Man called my dear friend, love her to death. I called her Yellow Nigger. Yes, Yellow Nigger. That's what I called her, and we laugh about it. The reason why we laugh about it is because she know the reason why I called her that is because of the fact she's very, very, her skin tone is very, very bright. And it's light. She's one of those brown skinned gals and everything, and she got that real light skin. And that's why I call her Yellow Nigger. And she laughed about it because she knew the reason why I was doing it. But now, she laughed about that, and I'm not going to call names, but if she see this video, she know exactly who I'm talking about. But now, when I say that, she would laugh because she know why I'm saying it. But someone else said it. It may not go over so well. What I'm saying, people, let us remember this one thing. Before we judge others, let us also consider ourselves. I cannot sit here and become a judge of this lady. I can't do that, and I'm not going to do it. Because I have done and said too many outside things myself. I've used racial slurs and comments, not only to my own people, but also to other nationalities as well. I'm guilty, so I can't sit here and get self-righteous now and start talking about this lady because she's in the news, and I'm not going to do it. What I am going to say is that we all need to stop our mess. That's all I'm going to say. If this racial stuff is going to ever stop, it's going to have to stop with us. We're going to have to stop. Everything is not black and white. We got to, I still say that even to now. I know what has happened. We can't change that. We need to leave the past alone. Apostle Paul said we forget those things which are behind, and we press on forward toward the mark of the high calling in Jesus. So what if we gonna ever let this stuff die? You're gonna have to let it go. You got to bury the dead. You got to leave that stuff alone. Now, how are we gonna do that? Like Apostle Paul just said, we got to forget those things which are behind. History has written itself, people. We cannot change it. We cannot change what has happened. But neither can we blame everybody for what has happened. We can't do that. And the only way that we're going to stop this stuff, if it can be stopped, it's going to have to start with us. We need to stop worrying about and thinking and dwelling on the past. Yes, we should study the past to keep from making mistakes of the past. I feel that. This is why we study history, to try to keep from making the same mistakes we made in the past. That's, in my opinion, that's all we should look back on. Look back to glean from the mistakes that we made to try not to make them in our present and in our near future. That's what I feel the history for. But all the negative that has happened, you cannot change it. Oh yes, we know a lot of bad stuff happened, people. We know that. Yes, it did happen. And they can deny it, we can't deny it, history can't deny it. Everybody, if you think, have been treated, and to a degree, wrong. There's not a person on the planet that has not been treated wrong in some capacity. But are you going to be bigger than that and rise above it? We must rise above the bigotry, the racism, against anybody or anyone. You see, this is why I love King, and a lot of people don't even realize that King was not just for black people. King was for all people. King was for racial equality, period. He wasn't just for Mitty Man alone or this one over there alone. King, he wanted equality across the board. He didn't have that prejudice against no one. He said, I have a dream that one day that my little children, meaning his black, would be able to join hands in brotherhood with all men. That with white little children playing with black little children and red little children and polka dot little children, all of them playing together. That was King's dream. Now, if we teaching our kids to be prejudiced against the white kids or against the Indian kids, against the Mexicans or whatever, we are wrong. We are wrong because King did not, I repeat, King did not advocate that. He advocated unity among all people, that we all might be together as one, just as Christ said. Now, people, we know that everybody's not going to think alike, and you're not going to get some people that ever think alike. We will never get that. I just believe. But I do believe that we can do this. We can get together. If we're going to say who we are and we let our light shine, stop worrying about the next fellow. But if we let our light shine and we refuse to let that negative mentality, don't let that negative outside stuff penetrate us, and get back the real business at hand, knowing that we are all created equal. In other words, in God's sight, we all have the same capacity to build, to gain, to get. Nothing wrong with having things, people, but don't let the things have you. So in other words, if God has given us all that ability, how can you sit and blame another for your lack of anything, when God has given you the inside ability to do anything you want? Let me tell you something, people. Your worth is not based upon what somebody else think about you, what somebody else say about you. If you value your worth on what people think, you're gonna be just like this, up and down, up and down. Because people opinion change of you day and night. There are people that think well of you today. Tomorrow they'll cuss you out. There are people that think well and say good things about you today and get behind your back and talk to another person about you and talk about you like you're a snake. You cannot worry about that, people. You cannot worry about people because people change. But just know who you are in Christ. And then when you hear these racial slurs being made about anybody, I don't care who it might be, not just because of Miss Paula Deen has been caught in the limelight with it, but no matter who speak it, then you can say, well, that doesn't affect me. I feel sorry for you. I'm going to pray for you that God will change your mind. But we got to let our light shine, people. By us getting upset about every little thing like this, even though whether it's wrong or right. But remember, God is the one that's in charge. God is supreme. Jesus told us to pray for our enemy and love them. Give them cold water, the one that acts, even if it's your enemy. By doing that, you will pour hot coals upon their head. In other words, he said, repay evil with kindness. That's what Jesus was saying. So now what we need to do, let's take all the negative remarks that people are going to be saying from this day forward until they find something else negative. They're gonna lie like this right now until somebody else do something. Then they're gonna move on. Do not let that affect your self-worth, because what was said or what wasn't said, like I said, many men do not know. I'm just giving my little bit of humble opinion that I'm glad that my self-worth is not based on what other people think, and neither should yours. This is Many Man saying whatever you get into, if God is not in it, it's best that you come out of it. And remember, you must give out that what you want to get in return. This is Many Man saying peace. See you later.